You ready? Greenville City Council will come to order. First, I'd like to appoint Pro Temp Katie for our clerk. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt? Whitaker?
Here.
Brown?
Here.
Ely? Yes.
If I get everyone to stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Evening, everyone. Council members, you were emailed out the minutes. If there are no additions or corrections, they will stand approved as emailed out. You were also emailed out the approval of the financial report. I will entertain a motion to accept that.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Brown to accept the financial report. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely? Yes.
Okay, approval of the agenda under ordinances and resolutions. Number 5 and 6 needs flipped. That was emailed out. Just in the order that they need to be approved. So if you can make that an amendment, and with that, I'll entertain a motion to.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to approve the agenda as amended. Any discussion on that? Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely? Yes.
All right, moving on to public hearing. If anyone would like to speak, please state your name, address at the podium.
Okay. Well, the very thing that you said is one of my concerns, stating your name and address. The world we live in today, you never know when someone's going to turn on you. And what my living status is, I don't want to say it because this is live, but just this past week, I went somewhere where someone says, I know your name and I know where you live. And I said, how do you know that? Because I watch city council. Now I go to other meetings. I go to park board meetings and I go to fair board meetings. And the fair board have you sign in on a clipboard. What is the reason that you're having people state their name and address and this is live?
Yeah, well, so I've been doing this for about 20 years and it's always the way we've done it. So I'll refer to our law director. Is there a reason we?
I'd have to look to see if there was something. I would assume, pragmatically, one of the reasons was to ensure that you're dealing with constituents that we were making the comments. But I do know that, as Ms. Dieter mentioned, other places have kind of a sign-in sheet that is maintained as a record.
Yep.
But those sign-in sheets then become part of the minutes in the public record, which could be requested, and so it helps a little bit.
That I wouldn't have a problem, and so I sign in at the fair board meetings, but I am bothered because I have one time talked about drug dealers in my area, and when I stood up here that night, that kept going through my mind, going, oh my goodness, I gave my name, I gave my address, and then to be approached by this past week.
Let us look into that and we'll get back to you.
Please, I would love it if you could just change your procedure because, and the other thing I wanted to bring up concerning that is the lady that I was here a couple weeks ago, she was her first time visiting. She also got approached by somebody who saw her on the screen and brought up her name, and they accused her of complaining about the business, and she didn't complain about that business because I stood here right beside her. But again, they watched it on the screen, they got her name, they got her address. Now it would take another step for someone to actually get your address to contact you, and you guys would be aware of that, I would think. So please consider in changing that procedure, because maybe there's people here that would come to these meetings, but they don't want to have to give openly their name and address. So that's my one concern. My second concern is, and I was hoping Ryan would be here because I was here last night for the park board meeting. And I just noticed in the early bird that there is going to be mosquito spraying. And this is what it said. They did it on June 28th. Now they want to do it on July 29th at 9 p.m. north of the Greenville Creek. If they spray, that will kill the butterflies, the honeybees, because what will happen is that chemical gets on the flowers, the bees land on the flowers, get it on their feet, and they take it back to the hives. So they carry that drug basically to the hives, and who knows how much damage that will do. And right now in my car, I was going to bring them in, and I said, no, I won't get that childish, but I have a cage that I've collected 5 caterpillars. I have yet to see a monarch this season, and I should have. So I don't know if this June 29th spraying has made a difference. I don't know what's going on. But I've got 5 caterpillars that'll eventually go into a butterfly. So if they spray, that's what's going to happen. You're going to kill them all. And the honeybees. Now, if you know anything about pollination, the honeybees are needed. And I went out there and I looked at my milkweed plants. I have 100 in my backyard along a fence. And the bees are so busy during the day, gathering. And I started to cry because I thought, oh my gosh, what is this going to do to this? Can't they put that off until September? Because if you don't know anything about butterflies, I will find more butterflies during the fair than any other time. I am constantly going out to fields or whatever. So I'm not so worried about the countryside because this is city. But that's still going to affect our population of butterflies. It's going to come a time when little kids are going to say, Grandpa, what's a butterfly? Because we don't have them anymore. So I asked if you could possibly talk to Ryan, because he said he didn't see this in the early bird. This was July 2nd. And I told him I'd bring the article tonight. So if there would be any way that this could be postponed. I haven't seen the first mosquito yet. So why are we spraying?
Come to my house.
Yeah, come to my
Well,
house.
I know you made that comment, and that's why it got sprayed, but what are you gonna do when you kill the honeybees?
I got honeybees in my backyard.
Well, it'll kill them. It'll kill the hive. Go
still there.
research, Clarence.
They're still there.
Go research.
One of the things that the Ohio Department of Agriculture does is protects the honeybees.
Okay,
When I take classes on spraying yards, because I put chemicals on people's yards to kill weeds
okay,
and to spray trees. And one of the big things that the Ohio Department of Agriculture does is that anybody that sprays the wrong chemical on a tree or mosquito spray that affects the honeybees, they fine them.
they find them,
They fine them.
okay?
There was a big incident up north towards Cleveland that killed a bunch of honeybees up there in a parking lot, like a Walmart or Lowe's, that a guy went in and sprayed the trees. The honeybees came in and killed them in the parking lot. They're all laying there. So the Ohio Department of Agriculture came up, investigated it. The guy sprayed the wrong kind of chemical in the wrong time. You know, like you said, butterflies,
Yeah, it'll kill them all.
and it killed all those, so they fined them because they sprayed the wrong stuff.
So
I
how
think
do
you
we
need to
know
do
what the
some more
city's gonna
research.
use?
You need to do some more research on.
Well, I'd like to
mosquito
know
spray.
what they're going to use, because I've actually been outside one time when that came down the street, and it was atrocious. I couldn't believe
That's why
it.
they do it at night.
Right, but I was outside that night, and I couldn't believe it. It was bad.
So let's do this. Let's get some research, some
Okay.
data of what chemicals we are using, whether they will hurt
Please do.
honeybees or not, and we will report back.
Okay, but this is on the 29th of July, so it's coming up. So Ryan told me last night they're not going to do it. So all I'm concerned with is we want our honeybees, we want our butterflies, and so if they could postpone it. You may have mosquitoes, nobody else has had mosquitoes yet, so maybe you could take care of
I
it.
have both. I got, my wife got stung 3 times by honeybees last night, and I've got
Honeybees?
stung.
Honeybees? Okay, well, honeybees we need for our food, so
Yep.
all I'm saying, we need them.
She accidentally got in a nest, and didn't know they were
Honeybees
there.
are in a, they don't go in a nest.
Well, they were in a hive that we didn't know was there. She reached in and got stung,
Okay,
okay? And our house is full of mosquitoes, so we have both,
okay.
so.
All I know is I'm just thinking of future generations. And the third thing, this is not a complaint. This is something that I'm doing that I don't know if you're aware of, but I am, there should be an article coming out in the Early Bird in the near future. if you go out to the park, there is a message board out there now, which came from East School. And Fred, who was on the school board, was very instrumental in getting that board for me because it was one of my dreams to post information. So what's going to happen, I'm going to change it every Sunday. And it's going to have all kinds of information. And just for your information is I'm going to post this council meet, not the minutes, just the meetings, trying to get people involved. Because people will ask me, what are they saying at council? I want them to come up here, but I won't do it. So I'm going to be posting that stuff. Feel free to stop by. It's right there across from the football field. It's two-sided. I had it done at the glass company, and they put a glass on the back, so I want to have photographs and just any information that's in our community. So I think it's going to be something that people, once they get knowing that it's there, I want to put out things about the city, like trivia things, not questions, but history. So you can come there every week and there'll be something new. I will take care of it because it will never be old information. I don't like stuff that myself. And so I'm going to be able to maintain that. So I hope you go there and see. It'll have the fair board times, the park board times, and also the city council times. So I just do that as a benefit. And if you have anything you want me to post, just let me know and I'll make sure that it gets posted. So as for that, that's it tonight.
Yep, and just another thing on honeybees, if someone does have a nest out there and that they need moved, there's always someone willing to come and help move that nest to keep them going. Yep. Yep.
Come and get them.
Yep. Okay. Anyone else? Public hearing. Street department, you want to give a report? No. Well, could you real quick on High Street, just an update?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
We're not putting on spraying mosquitoes.
Okay.
We already did it. I don't know what, that just must be a misprint.
Okay.
So North Ohio Street, so they're doing some pavement repairs now, today, probably tomorrow, and then hopefully tomorrow and Thursday, they'll be doing the actual pavement. So, and then Friday, line markings. So realistically, Friday it could be open, but I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. So we're not going to open it up until the line markings are down, just because of the bridge and the bike path and how everything's kind of set in there. We're afraid that we're going to have some people hitting the curb and that kind of thing without line markings, because it's going to be considerably different. So,
Okay. Any other questions for the street department?
Sounds good, man.
all right.
Thanks, Matt.
Or to be able to go home that way.
All right, let's move on to administration report. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. Put my mic down by myself.
Ryan's out there keeping an eye on you.
I got a couple of things to bring up. This last Thursday on the 6th, I was fortunate enough to go out to the fairgrounds and help welcome all the visitors and exhibitors of Farm Power of the Past. They had a little bit of a rainy weekend, but they had a big crowd, so I think it went over well. So a lot of people from out of town joined that, so it was great to see them. Had the privilege of swearing in Carter Wood to a new patrolman. So he's going to be going to school at Edison. Yeah, Edison. Okay. That was on Friday. Hope everybody got a chance to see the fireworks. It could. Turned out to be a pretty decent show. It was fun. August 4th is coming up. Is next first Friday, and the Artisan Stroll, and that's usually a big night. There'll be a lot of people downtown. A lot of things for kids to do. A lot of games for them. And then don't forget, this Friday is Barbecue and Blues, and that's on the library lawn. So they'll be coming up. That's a big event, so don't miss it. And I'll pass.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let's see, moving on to Ryan is not here. Safety Service Director, move on to Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. Just to help kind of move things along, I just wanted to talk about the ordinances and resolutions briefly. So ordinances 1 and 2 deal with new subdivisions that we've already done. When a new subdivision gets created, we dedicate a street. The street's shown in the plat. The city signs off on the plat. This is just to clear up something. The recorder now wants us to actually accept a deed for the legal description. And so this is just cleaning that up. It's for subdivisions that are already completed and have been done. Resolution number 3. So if you recall, we had a property on Martin Street that's been a problem for us for a long time. It went through tax sale. Nobody bid. Nobody claimed it. The city took that property back. We've kind of been sitting on it with hopes of what we may or may not be able to do with it. We reached out to a bunch of organizations like Habitat for Humanity, see if we could turn it into a single-family home. We reached out to the school, to their carpentry class, to see if they would help us out with the property. Needless to say, here we are, I think 2 years later, and nobody's still willing to do anything. And so we've had enough, and the auditors are happy to get that off their books. So we're going to go ahead and list that for sale now to hopefully get it in a new owner's hands so that it can be renovated and taken care of. Our hope with that is to list it and auction it off locally in hopes of ensuring that we get better bidders than if we just put it on Gov Deals. So
Is that the blockhouse?
that is the blockhouse on Martin Street.
So is that going to be like a sealed bid, or how's that going to be?
So right now, this is just for us to advertise it for bids. I don't know if we've entirely decided definitively which way we're going to go. The options would be to do a sealed bid or to do a local kind of private, not private auction, but to do a local auction. So this is just authorizing it to sell one of two ways.
Okay.
The next piece of legislation, number 4, deals with, there was an update to the water billing system. There were some other customers that had discounted sewer rates for various reasons. When the update went on, those discounts didn't get carried over. This is just refunding things back. All of the discounts historically had already been passed. There's already legislation for everything. It's just that the billing software didn't keep up, so this fixes that. And then lastly is we did have a tornado siren that was damaged in the storms, and so the last one is to fix the tornado siren. Any questions from anyone?
Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Law Director. City Auditor.
Thank you, Mr. Council President. First of all, I think you are already aware that our 2022 audit has been finalized, and it should be filed with the state within the next week or 10 days. So that's done. On to another year. As you all also know, we passed the preliminary 2024 budget at the previous council meeting, and I wanted to explain the process a little bit to you. I've explained it before, but just to remind you, in previous years, we had to publish a public hearing notice 10 days before the date that we would approve the preliminary budget, and that way people would have a chance to come and speak to the budget if they so wished. However, back in May, you all approved an alternative budget, which basically streamlined the process a little bit so that we do not have to do a public hearing for anyone. And so at this point, all I need to do is I need a motion from council to approve the 2024 budget, and tomorrow I will submit it with the county.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to submit
To approve the
to approve the 2024
budget.
budget. Thank you. Any discussion on that? Call the roll.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Rogers,
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ely.
Yes. Thank you. And with that, I pass.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Auger. Committee reports. There is not. I think we need to extend the one utility committee report for the stormwater runoff for the cemetery. And can you have that back for next meeting?
Well-
Would it be next week?
Yeah.
Okay, or you want to go into the first meeting in August?
August.
Okay, August 2nd. Procrastinator.
I know.
Only here for like 3 or 4 days.
All right, ordinances, resolutions. We'll start off with number 1, an ordinance accepting deed for real estate property for Washington Square.
An ordinance accepting a deed for real property, Washington Square subdivision right of way. This ordinance accepts the deed for real property located at the Washington Square subdivision right of way, quitclaimed by the previous owner to the city of Greenville.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
An ordinance accepting a deed for real property, Washington Square subdivision right of way. An ordinance accepting a deed for real property, Washington Square subdivision right of way.
Move to adopt.
Move to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to the second ordinance. It's accepting a deed for real property, Autumnwood and Driftwood Drive.
An ordinance accepting a deed for real property, Autumnwood right of way on Driftwood Drive. This ordinance accepts the deed for real property located at the Autumnwood right of way on Driftwood Drive, quitclaimed by the previous owner to the city of Greenville.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on this ordinance and read it by title only, second, third time.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second, third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
An ordinance accepting a deed for real property on Wood right of way on Driftwood Drive. An ordinance accepting a deed for real property on Wood right of way on Driftwood Drive.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, next we have a resolution authorizing advertisement for sale of municipal land.
A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for the sale of municipal land at 724 Martin Street. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to advertise for bids for sale of municipal lands located at 724 Martin Street, Greenville, Ohio.
Move to suspend the rules and give this resolution its second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for the sale of municipal land at 724 Martin Street. A resolution authorizing advertising for bids for the sale of municipal land at 724 Martin Street.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin.
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, next we have a resolution waiving payment, reputation storm water charges as a result of a glitch, and this has an emergency clause.
A resolution waiving payment by or in the alternate authorizing reimbursement representing stormwater usage charges incurred as the result of a computer glitch and declaring an emergency. This ordinance authorizes the adoption.
Yeah, we should be on number 4.
The old one,
No, the new one I went there.
the new one?
The explanation, and that's not even on there. That one have it on there too.
Yeah.
I copied this. Just read, it's the second one down. You just skip that. Read where it says, you are at, that one got removed, so the resolution reimburses the following.
Okay.
There you are.
You don't need this.
This resolution reimburses the following individuals for stormwater charges incurred as the result of a computer glitch. Lynn Hamilton at 120 North Broadway for $360.80. Greenville Cemetery at 200 West Street for $660.80. Oline Mobile Home Park at 6057 Sebring Warner Road for $2,419. Spirit Medical at 5484 State Route 49 South at $885. Box Run at 1230 Adrian Avenue for $383.40. This resolution has an emergency clause.
Make a motion to suspend the rules. Read it by title only, second, third time.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Rogers,
Should we abstain?
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
I'm just gonna be able to suspend.
We're not going to be able to pass emergency.
You've got two of them, you got to abstain.
Let's split it in half, and so you can pass it as everybody before Spirit, and then we'll do the reasons for Spirit, because there's 4 others that we could take care of.
Okay. So,
Whoa.
Do we need to amend the legislation then and do a separate piece of legislation for the next meeting?
okay, so I will entertain a motion to amend the resolution and removing the Spirit off of that. And we'll add that next meeting.
So we need a motion to amend, right?
Motion, yep, motion, who wants to give that?
So move.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to remove Spirit off of this. So, discussion? Call the roll?
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay. So, now since that is waived, let's start over. So we have the resolution waiving payment process, stormwater charges. Go ahead and read it.
A resolution waiving payment by or in the alternate authorizing reimbursement representing stormwater usage charges incurred as a result of a computer glitch and declaring an emergency.
Make a motion to suspend the rules on the resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Okay, moved by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll?
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Resolution waiving payment by or in the alternate authorizing reimbursement representing stormwater usage charges incurred as the result of a computer glitch and declaring an emergency. Resolution waiving payment by or in the alternate authorizing reimbursement representing stormwater usage charges incurred as a result of a computer glitch and declaring an emergency.
Move to adopt the emergency clause.
Move to adopt emergency clause by Mr. Rogers. Discussion? Call the roll?
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Move to adopt by Mr. Brown. Discussion? Call the roll?
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
That's what happens when you're in a small community. There's always,
Right. I was gonna ask about the cemetery too, since I'm on the board for that.
The cemetery was fine.
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and give it a first reading for the reimbursement to Spirit Medical Center, though?
So we
Okay.
need to amend it.
all right, so I will,
And legislation, another piece, and it'd be the exact same thing, declaring emergency, as is just Spirit Medical Center, and we'll just give it its first reading.
okay, so we're going to add that at the very bottom of number 7, legislation, a resolution waiving payment representing stormwater charges for Spirit Medical. So I'll entertain a motion to add that to agenda.
I moved to add that to the agenda.
Okay, moved by Mr. Whitaker to add number 7 to the agenda. Discussion? Call the roll?
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll come back to that after we read 5 and 6. All right, next on the agenda, number 5, a resolution authorizing Safety Service Director to enter into an agreement with Federal Signal Safety and Security Systems. Yeah, leave that there for,
Okay.
because you need to read it again.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses. This isn't the right one. Let's try that again. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Federal Signal Safety and Security Systems for replacement of a warning siren. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Federal Signal Safety and Security Systems for replacement of a warning siren damaged during a storm.
Move to suspend the rules and give this ordinance or resolution second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Rogers to suspend rules, give this resolution second and third reading by title only. Discussion. Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Federal Signal Safety and Security Systems for replacement of a warning siren. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into a contract with Federal Signal Safety and Security Systems for replacement of a warning siren.
Motion to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Godwin to adopt this resolution. Discussion. Which one is this? Does anyone know?
Palm Drive.
It's Lee Lane, right?
Anyway, by the behind the new. Okay. I take it blew over or tree hit it? Okay.
Right down. Didn't damage anything else though.
Yeah, it's pretty bad when your storm siren gets not taken out. Yeah. Any other discussions besides my smart wisdom? Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
All right, moving on to number 6, a supplemental ordinance.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. The supplemental ordinance allows for appropriations in the general fund and stormwater utility operating fund in the sum as follows. New equipment, warning sirens in the amount of $32,000. These funds are needed for the replacement of a warning siren and pole destroyed during a storm. Refund, stormwater utility in the amount of $5,410.20. These funds are needed to reimburse various customers for an overcharge to their accounts.
Move to suspend the rules to give this ordinance a second and third reading by title only.
Moved by Mr. Whitaker to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second and third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Brown to adopt. Discussion?
$32,000 for a siren. Wrong business.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Godwin?
Yes.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Whitaker?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Okay, and then lastly, the one we added was a resolution waiving payment representing storm charges for the Spirit Medical Center.
A resolution waiving payment by or in the alternate authorizing reimbursement representing stormwater usage charges incurred as the result of a computer glitch and declaring an emergency. This resolution reimburses the following individual for stormwater charges incurred as a result of a computer glitch. Spirit Medical at 5484 Route 49 South, in the amount of $885.
So you just want that read once? Okay. All right, no, we don't need to do anything else with that. All right, thank you. Moving on, that completes the ordinance and resolutions. Moving on,
Mr. President?
yes.
I have a question. On the summary of the legislation, under 4, authorizing the adoption of the personnel policy manual, when was that? Did we do that?
No,
We
we're
don't.
gonna bring it to the next meeting.
Okay, because I'm like, I didn't hear that one. I'm like,
Removed off there.
okay, thank you very much for that clarification.
I just noticed that.
I'm like, wait a minute, hold the phone there, dudes.
Twilight Zone for a
I'm
second.
thinking,
It'll be next time.
that's fine, thanks for the
And we're looking
clarification.
forward to it too.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to new business. We have none,
Thank you.
correct? And old business, we have none, correct?
Correct.
Nothing yet.
Just the,
Old business, we have a tabled zoning amendment recommendation. Does anyone want to do anything with that?
Not yet.
All right, move on. Council representing outside committee, and we have Main Street, Greenville, which is Mr. Whitaker.
Yes, last week we were scheduled to have a meeting. It was rescheduled for tomorrow because there was a lack of a quorum. Day after the 4th of July, we didn't have enough people evidently that were going to show up. But I did want to mention one thing that Main Street Greenville merchants are doing downtown from July 7th through the 22nd. They have passports to Greenville thing going on, and where shoppers can spend $5 or more at one of any of 11 businesses. And what they're going to do is have these completed passports of people who spend money in all these shops. They can be entered into a giveaway for a pretty nice gift. I don't know what that gift is exactly, but I won't spoil all the fun. But that's something that's geared toward generating business in all the businesses downtown, and usually these things work out pretty well for them. So that's one thing that you're doing. And the Artisan Stroll coming up, he mentioned, is the next first Friday in August. And next Tuesday, if anything happens at the board meeting tomorrow morning, I'll bring that up at that time.
Okay, great. Any questions or anything on Main Street, Greenville? All right, moving on to communications.
there's a monthly report of June for income tax in the street department.
Okay. Any questions on that? All right, call of council.
Godwin,
Thanks for everybody coming up tonight, and with that, I'll pass.
Norris,
Yep, thank you, James, for your input. We appreciate that. Mr. Myers, between Mr. Borowski and being our officer, code enforcement officer, is on East Main Street. We saw some marked improvements down there. Saw your crew down there this morning and getting the residents cleaned up there. So I think that is coming right along. I've had nothing but positive comments. Talked to Borowski when he was out talking to an individual, and it's some people just don't know or don't have the means, and they're working well so far with that. So with that, I will pass.
Rogers,
Yeah, I think most of my questions and answers was gotten before the meeting, and so I'll pass.
Whitaker,
I want to thank Jane over there for her input regarding the introduction of gas. I think that's a very valid concern. We live in some crazy times anymore, and threats being made to people who want to come to council meetings certainly won't be tolerated. And I think there's a way to do that, like she maybe pointed out. And I want to thank the street department for all their work on Ohio and Martin Street. That's going to be a wonderful addition to that area, and the bike path completion down to the park is going to be widely used, I'm sure. So it's going to look great, and I appreciate it. And with that, I pass.
Brown,
Just super excited to hear that I can actually go down Ohio Street to my house. And
That's good.
I mean, I'm not kidding. I think 2 or 3 days ago, I tried to go that way again. It was like, I just have not figured it out yet. Eldora this weekend. Just be aware, hotels will probably be busier. Greenville will be busier. It is the King's Royal. They are expecting record crowds. Thursday night is $1 million race up there. So there will be a lot of people in and around Greenville and Dark County. So anyway, with that, I'll pass.
Ely,
I will pass this evening.
President Baumgartner.
Yep, so a couple things. So when I heard Carter Ward's name, and it thinks, think about, I know he's at least a 4th generation Greenville boy. His dad grew up down the alley from me. Grandpa, I've known that family for a long time, so I think it's kind of cool when we see police officers, people that's from the community, second, third, fourth generations. I think that's really neat. So congratulations to Carter. I know I said this last summer. I want to thank the mayor again for the 4th. I wasn't here, but I had my son who was here send me some really cool videos, and that the big flash bomb was really neat. A lot of comments. So I think we scared a lot of people, but hey, that's all how you do it, right? Go big or go home, right?
That was neat.
And then lastly, I was on the park board for a long time, and there's not probably a more passionate person that cares about the park and that community, and I just thank you. We'll figure that out as far as putting your name out there and stuff, because we live in different times from 20, 30, 50 years ago. So we'll work on that. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Moved by Mr. Rogers. We're quick enough. Call the roll.
Godwin,
Yes.
Norris,
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Whitaker,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Evening, everyone.
I expect to waive